Hi guys, thanks for using PowerAutomateManager plugin for managing cloud Power Automates. It has two parts: listing CRM solution flows, listing my flows using Azure Client application. So basically, this is the one of the most interesting part of the application and for my flows, and we have some important features regarding my flows like execution histories, run histories, flow dependencies in terms of connectors, tables, triggers, and actions the flow is using. You can also export them. You can turn on and off or share flow, delete flows. Apart to that one, the application itself also allow you to generate a token, cache the token using Microsoft Authentication library as well. It also help you to save the client application into a text file at the backend for each new tenant. So whenever once you specify that client information, client ID, and scopes over there, and for each tenant, it will save for each tenant. So you don't need to input it again and again for each tenant. Now, other important thing is that you have to use OAuth and certificate type of connections for xrmtoolbox for this plugin to work. That is very important to remember. Now, if we go to xrmtoolbox, I am connected to CM organization, and here you see that I have solution flows and my flows. So this part here, configure my flow, is connected to my flow. So let's go to the solution flow, which is independent. So if I click solution flow, it will list all the solutions in the CRM system. And by default, I have removed the default CRM solutions from the system. So here, if I click here, I will see my solution, which is for the demo purposes. So if I click it here, I will see different flows that are connected to this solution. So if I click one of the flows, it shows me the name and the status, active and active. So if I click this one, I will see the dependencies, which I mentioned before, that in terms of how many connectors we have. It also shows in the icons with the so you know that which kind of connector you are using. Things about you have a big migration project or migration flow, so you can use this toolbox to list all these flows what are inside there, a glimpse of that one. So total entities, account, contact, leads, account leads are so many, but remember this is distinct. Now, you may be using more than one accounts or contacts or there for some purposes on different actions, but this is just for distinct to give an idea. This is main trigger. If you click here, so it will let you know what is the main trigger on which the flow is triggering. And this is the action so far used in the flow. So for example, if you click here, you will see in different ones with the different entities and triggers, but it will give you an idea of it. So that is for solution flow. So we covered that part. Now is for the my flows. For my flows, as we said, we have to register an application. So let's go to Azure tenant and register a new application. So I'm in my Azure tenant, which is for the xrmtoolbox demo, and I'm in Azure Active Directory Blade, and here is app registration. And if we click app registration, we have to click a new application. Okay, fine. Let's give a good name, flow demo app, for example, and it's better to have a multi-tenant. And here, redirect URI. Yes, basically our application is desktop application, but we kind of don't need to use that one. But here, we need to have that web URI. Why? Because if you go here and see this article, desktop calls web application, this is a recommendation from Microsoft that as best security practices, we need to recommend explicitly setting one of them. Even for desktop application, we need URI, because this is the reason that Microsoft ACL.NET use default. This is a claims kind of for other redirect URIs specified. So you need to go here and check. So that's why we need to have some default URI. So we registered that one. Bingo. So now it is get created. So this is the one of the important thing here, your client ID. Basically, you need to remember you have to go back and register that one for your application newly created. Now, more thing to come here is like we have to do authentication as well, right? So now we have access token, ID token here. We need to enable the public client for. It's good to have it. Now, the thing is, our application is a desktop application. Go here, assign the URI and configure. Good to go. Now press the save. So once we press the save, we have our access token, RE tokens, and for mobile application, we have a rect UD. And yes, and this section is complete. Now let's go to the expose API, define our app UD, which is very important. And here are the scope if you want to use it for some authorization or some, but here in case we don't need it. Now go to the API permission for giving flow some scopes. So if you click add permissions, you will see a flow service here. This is because I'm using flow services. So at least in your tenant, one of the user must have been using this one. Otherwise, you would not able to see it. So as I'm using, if I click here, I will see the delegated permissions for flow. So what we need is these ones, finite users, flows, and read all and manage all. Obviously, this is a minimum. You can use the other ones if you need it. So for us, is enough. Add permissions. Good. Now, if you see here the user, we need a grant xrmtoolbox. So our permission. So let's grant it. One thing is here, I am admin here. That's why I granted the permission, but you might be not an admin. So you need an admin to grant permission. That is very important before you log in. So here, I'm logging with that user. You can see, so it's better if you are admin, try to log in with that user, or otherwise you need a consent here in any case. Okay, let's go back to our application. So this is done with the solution flow. Now we have done with the applications for the MyFlow. If we click here, you can see I have already using some client ID and tenant. But for your if you go back here, and you need to copy that one and use it here. That's the client ID, right? If I delete that one, if I copy that one here, right? And this is the tenant ID for us. If I copy the tenant ID here, right? So if I press save, so it will register the application. So I'm not going to do it, but when you register, it will save the application. So now let's click. We have already registered the application. So if I click here, it will show me quickly this toolbox here, right? So let's give the username and password. Now, if you see here, it has loaded these submenus and the icon turn screen. So this means that our application has been registered. And now we click here, I will see all my personal flows and the flows that are shared with me. That's our team's flows. And if you see here, all of my tenants are, or my CRM organizations are loaded here, production, test, development. So that is the beauty of this flow. So we also get the same look and feel that we have it in flow.microsoft.com or make.powerapps.com. That's this thing we have it there in CRM. So these flows, they are like different information for us when it is modified, who is user, the state is start or stop, or no, these red ones are the operations. You can start or stop, or you can share with some user if you want to, with some user, and you can delete as well. These are the shared flows who are shared with me. Now comes to the history part. This history shows us all the flows and any history we have so far. So I hope I have a history for, I have a history for this one. This is to my flows, and this is the solution flows we have seen here. So let's go to our solution and let's see if we have something available. Yeah, something available here. Here's an error. It shows error. If you do like that, you probably have more information here. That is the history or execution history. So if we click hierarchy, there we get the dependency as we see here. So if I click here, it shows me the dependency. Now the other beauty is that apart from that one, connected entities, and we can also export the current flow, or you want to export all of the flow, it would export all of these dependencies. So that one, you can save it like this, or export all will export all these flows dependency. So this is one of the important information for you guys. If you have a lot of flows, so you can export them, search them, and do a lot of things there. So this is the main application here. Now, one important thing is that I'm connected with one CRM tenant with the dev. If I go with the other CRM tenant and connect here and go with that tenant, next time you open it, it will be empty. So that means there's a time for register your application, and you can do that work. I hope you will use this tool will be helpful for you in your daily life for this XRM Power Automate stuff. So let me know how you think, and please do rate if you like this plugin, and let me know in my GitHub issues if any issues, any problems there. Thanks for watching.